Hello and welcome to Invictus 2954. I'm Bob Harkin, and with me is Mike Spectre. Wait, where are you?
Hey, I had to get a jacket. Don't worry, I got you one too.
Oh. That feels better. So, we've got some exciting things to look at today. We've got RSI, we've got Origin Jump Space Works, Consolidated Outland, and Argo. Now, I'm going to let you say it, because I already know what you're going to say. But what are you looking forward to today?
Polaris.
I knew it. Yeah, so this is the first time ever that us as civilians get an up-close look at the Polaris, the RSI Polaris. We're very excited to see that. And maybe when we get up there, I'll kind of ask you about the Org and the Polaris, but we'll take a look. There's a few halls that have different setups, and we'll kind of go through them and take a look at what's there and give you a heads up.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and head down to the hall, and we will catch up back there.
So Invictus is the UAE Navy's big exposition where they get to show off all the latest and greatest ships that they have. They get to do some recruiting, and the exciting thing for this one is the Polaris is front and center.
Polaris.
Well, I already know where he's going, so I suppose I should head up the escalator.
I can see it from here, Bob. I can see the Polaris. It's right there.
I know. As you can see behind us, RSI is taking center stage, and the granddaddy of them all, right there, the one that Spectre's been looking forward to, the Polaris.
I am so happy to finally see this in person, up close.
Yeah, the videos on Spectrum don't do it justice. It's so much bigger in person.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the videos, and you're like, okay, it's a big ship. We get it. You know, it's a little bit bigger than a Carrack, but then when seeing it in person, it's huge.
Yeah, it's gigantic, and I can't wait to see the inside when they finally let us. I know they're holding off on this Invictus, well, they will not be letting us do a tour of it, but it still is awesome from the outside. Now, yeah. I don't want to ruin it for you, but to me, looking at the engines in the back, they definitely remind me of the Constellations that are right next to it.
Okay, so everyone thinks I hate the Constellations. I don't. They're just really outdated ships, minus the Phoenix. It's horrible.
You're incorrect there.
But they are letting us tour the insides of the Constellations. So, I mean, that's something we can check out.
That is true. We've got all of them laid out here on the main floor, the Constellations, with alongside the Polaris. To me, they're beautiful ships. They definitely could use some redesigns on the cockpit. I've never liked their cockpits, but, to each their own.
Yeah, definitely the Constellations is what fabricated the term Robert Strutt Industries.
I've not heard about that one, and I love it.
All right, let's get a little bit closer to these things and then take a look around.
Sounds good. All right, we're standing here under the RSI Constellation Aquila. This is the exploration variant of the Constellation series. It switches out some of the turrets for scanning. It gives a little more longer range, gets the large cargo bay so you can have a rover with you. It comes with an URSA, I believe. A really good exploring variant for about 3 people. I believe is the crew size.
Yeah, the other thing you mentioned is the guns, but even removing some of the turrets, it still has 4 size 5 pilot-controlled weapons and a size 6 lower manned turret that has 2 size 2 laser repeaters and a size 6 manned radar dish on top.
Wow. Yeah, that's something the Constellations are kind of known for is having good firepower, even if they go into these specialized roles. They're very good for those engagements that you want to get in and get out. I think that's what the Constellation is known for.
Yeah, despite, in my opinion, being a little bit of an older ship and more outdated, these newer models, I mean, that's still nothing, to scoff off. That's a lot of firepower for a decently sized ship, and being able to carry a rover and do some good exploration on it. Definitely has its use still, especially with the repairs on the Pyro jump gate almost being completed.
Right. And as some of the other constellations in this series, this one also comes with a snub, so you're getting that rover and a snub fighter with you.
Yeah, and that snub fighter does come in handy. They're really small and hard to hit.
Exactly. Just a little extra to kind of keep you protected while you're getting away. Those snub fighters are really nice because they dock right into the back of the ship. They're there with you while you're jumping going through those jump gates that are just getting repaired. It's a good all-around ship, a good exploration vehicle for a small crew.
Exactly. I think it's time we about head inside and look at the interior, don't you think?
Yeah, let's take a look. All right, we're here in the cargo bay of the Aquila, and this cargo bay right behind me holds up to 96 SEU. I didn't realize it was that much, that you could fit that much in this ship, but you're going to be carrying a lot of supplies when you're going on those exploration runs.
And on top, you can see that's where the missile bays are, which have 24 size 2 missiles loaded into them.
There's a lot of firepower to bring along on those long hauls.
Yeah, it definitely keeps you protected.
Now, why don't we go look at that snub fighter that we were talking about?
Yeah, it's just through the back.
All right, we're here in the rear section, and as you can see in between us, we've got the P-52 Merlin docked with the Constellation. Now, this is going to give you a little bit of firepower, a little bit of that getting away, but you are going to have to re-dock to make those long jumps.
Yeah, it's definitely...
All right, we're here in the rear section looking at the P-52 Merlin. It's a nice little sub that you can dock with the Aquila. You'll take it with you, but then you'll have to bring it back when you are making those longer range jumps because it doesn't have a quantum drive. But it is a nice little ship.
But it does also have 2 size 1 Bulldog laser repeaters on it as well.
That'll take out some baddies.
Yeah, at least pass them up enough for your ship to get away.
Exactly. All right, we're standing here in the hab area and the airlock area, and as we were saying before, it holds about 3 to 4 crew members, so we've got bunks here in the back, and then we look into the bridge section up front. There's a lot to see up there, but as we said, in that middle area there is a scanning thing and a turret, all built into that center console area. And then the 3 crew members can sit up and watch the world go by.
But unfortunately, they were watching it through a cluster of struts.
As you said, there are a lot of struts in the Constellation series. But, again, some people like it, some people don't. But hopefully they can do some reworking on that.
Yeah, advancements of glass technology has gotten pretty far.
I can't wait to see all the struts in the Polaris.
There's those struts?
There's all the struts. They're taking all the struts out of the Constellation and putting them in the Polaris.
Oh no.
All right, we're standing under the Constellation Taurus, the freighter version of the Constellation series. You were telling me that this thing holds a lot of cargo?
Yeah, it actually holds almost double the amount of cargo as the Aquila at 174 SCU units.
Wow, that is a lot of cargo for something like this ship. It's nice that they have all these different variants so you can kind of pick and choose what you're actually getting with that. This is one of the top ships that I always hear about, and most people are flying the Taurus if they're doing cargo.
Yeah, it's very small for the amount of cargo that you carry. And again, it is still boasting those size 5 guns for the pilot. And the turret is actually on the top on this one, because on the bottom they have a tractor beam turret.
That would be important, especially with the cargo lift down below.
Yeah, it's you saw the elevator on the Aquila. You can see the cargo elevator now behind us, and just looking at it is clearly significantly bigger.
Absolutely. Well, shall we take a look inside?
Yeah, let's go ahead and head inside.
Now we're showing off here in the rear section the biggest difference with the Taurus. It loses the ability to have a snub fighter, but what you're gaining is a shielded cargo area.
Yeah, it's the same size area that the Merlin sits in, so it's not terribly large. It is pretty small back here, but could come in handy when you need to have extra storage and protection on certain cargo things.
Well, and I think I can see it being used when you're in some dangerous areas and you don't want certain types to be scanning your cargo. If they really want it, they'll have to come board it, but they won't be able to scan and find out what you're carrying. That's pretty valuable back here.
Exactly. I think back here it looks like it's about 4 SCU, so not too bad.
That'll hold your valuables.
Exactly.
We're taking a look once again in the cargo bay here, and as we were saying before, this one holds about, 174 SCU of cargo?
Yeah, 174. I'm guessing 170 here and the 4 in the back.
That would make sense, yeah. So you're going to be filling up a lot of cargo, moving it in and out of this cargo space back here. One thing we didn't mention was in the last one was that there are docking collars on both sides of these cargo bays. So that's kind of a nice feature of the Constellation series. You're going to get 2 docking collars.
Very good to be able to dock at multiple locations, but it can also be pretty bad when people can dock to you forcefully on 2 locations.
True. Those hackers might have a field day if they can get in 2 different ways onto the Constellation series.
Yes, it's a double-edged sword on that one.
Absolutely. We're here again in that habitation section, and it's very interesting. It is a series, so most of the cockpits, the cockpit and the habitation ring on the Constellation series all pretty much look the same. They've got the airlock right here in the middle, they've got the bridge behind us, and the bunks in the back, so they're all about that 3 to 4 crew range, and they all have those turrets in the front that they can switch out for different things. Like we said, this one has a tractor beam, the Aquila had a scanning range, so they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, basically. So, it's not really much more to say about these 2 rooms, considering they are the same as the last one.
I mean, it does have a nice orange paint scheme in this one.
Yeah, I guess so. It's got a little paint.
All right, we're standing here under the Andromeda. This is what I would call the gunboat variant. It has a little bit of all of the other 2 that we've already looked at, but it does increase its firepower a little bit.
Yeah, so it does still have the same size 5 guns for the pilot, but it has 2 of the manned turrets that have the size 2 Badger repeaters. It doesn't have like the radar dish or tractor beam. It trades out those for an extra turret. It still has the same 24 size 2 missiles, but also has 28 size 1 missiles on top of that as well.
So it's loaded for bear, you're saying?
Yeah.
Or Copians?
Probably the Copians.
So as we were saying before, the inside looks a lot like the Aquila, and has that same cargo capacity. It has that same snub fighter in the back, and basically the habs and the front cockpit are exactly the same. Like you said, you're getting a little bit more firepower, a little bit of those extra missiles in the back, but for the most part, it's a really good variant of the Aquila.
Yeah, the only difference that I'm really seeing here is that it's very blue in here.
It is very blue. I can't even see the color of your shoes anymore.
Yeah, they just look gray to me.
All right, we're here under one of my, I don't want to say favorite ships, but one I like very much, and I know we have some strong disagreements on that. We are under the Constellation Phoenix, the luxury, the VIP travel variant of the Constellation series. Getting a few upgrades with the Phoenix. I didn't realize the Lynx came with this one. I thought it was just the regular URSA, but you are going to get that luxurious ride in the URSA Lynx. You're also getting an upgrade to the P-72 Archimedes for the snub ship. So a lot of those features that were coming across from those other ships, just a little bit elevated with the Phoenix.
Yeah, so definitely the Lynx is the more luxury style rover. It's got the 2 nice chairs, the mini fridge with the champagne that comes standard when you buy it. And the Archimedes has 4 size 1 guns as opposed to the 2 size 1 guns. And on the Phoenix itself, again, you still have those size 5s for the pilot, and you do have 2 turrets similar to the Andromeda. However, you only have 28 size 1 missiles, making this the only one without the size 2s.
They had to shove them in the closet so that it couldn't fit as many.
Fair enough. Gotta have that granite tabletop.
Absolutely. Let's take a look inside.
Let's go look inside.
All right, we're standing where normally behind us you would be seeing the cargo elevator, but you're seeing some nice accents and a nice RSI logo and the entrance to the luxury suite on the Phoenix.
Yeah, it definitely does look better than the other Constellation series. A little bit more accent lights, a little bit brighter, more fancy, and these hardwood floors are definitely something that are enjoyable to look at.
Well, I'm glad you could find something that you could look at.
Right? The damn bar, that's for sure.
Speaking of the bar.
Yeah, let's go check out that bar.
So as you can see, this midsection looks a little bit different than the other constellations. We've got this nice table and chair set over here on the side where you have your dinner and look out along the cosmos. We've got some nice guest seating on the other side. Behind us, there are 2 guest suites, and in front of us are some fun additions.
Yeah, definitely looking in here, it's not as bad as I remember it being personally. It's just the weird overflow of granite onto the floor that I don't like.
It's a style choice.
It's definitely not my style.
We're well aware. All right, coming to the rear of the ship. To my right, the best part of this is the jacuzzi room, or apparently you can switch it out for a piano, but who the heck wants that? And then on the left side is the captain's bedroom with these nice translucent windows. There goes Spectre. And if you didn't know, this is the door to getting into the cargo bay. How's it going down there, Spectre?
It's dark and not well lit.
That is one bad thing about the cargo area where you would be storing your luxury URSA, is that it is very dark.
And that's a tripping hazard.
And that is a tripping hazard. Who put the button on the floor?
That's not a good place for it.
It's definitely not. All right, like we said, you get a little bit of an upgrade with the snub fighter as well. We are back here in the rear section with the P-72 Archimedes. Tell us a little bit about that, Spectre.
Yeah, so the Archimedes over the Merlin has 4 size 1 guns as opposed to 2 size 1 guns. It's also categorized as a racing ship. Yeah, it definitely, looking inside, has a much nicer interior and a little bit more of a racing style seat, like bucket seat, than the other Merlins.
Give you a little bit of cushioning protection while you're going at those high speeds, I suppose.
Yeah, and on the sticks, where your arms are, it's like nicely padded leather, just kind of sitting there. It's actually kind of cool looking.
Adding that luxury to the ship.
Yep, bet you those seats are heated as well.
Well, of course. And a little bit of massage.
Oh yeah, I gotta have the massage. Constellation series for us.
I think it does. Let's move on to the next section. All right, we're here in front of the star of the show for this year, this Invictus 2954. We are in front of the RSI Polaris, the spear of the UEEN Navy. It's the big boy. It's the thing you've been excited about. I know you've been reading all the brochures, so you know all the stats about this thing.
Yeah, definitely. So for starters, it's 166 in length, meters in length. So it's really long for an interior. Has a total of 432 SCU of cargo and a lot of firepower. So we're going to start off with the 2 remote turrets. First one being in the back is a specific yeah, rude people, man. Is a specific missile turret in the back that has 12 size 2 ignite missiles, and then the second one being a standard remote turret with 4 size 3 Panther repeaters. So then we go down to the manned turrets. There are 5 manned turrets. 2 of them have 4 size 3 Panthers, and then the other 2 of them have 2 size 4 Omsky laser cannons. So that's a total of 4 laser cannons. And then the final one, the big one, has 2 size 5 Omsky cannons.
Wow. That is a lot of firepower.
That is a boatload of firepower. And that's not the end of it.
I know.
It has 16 size 3 missiles and 28 size 10 torpedoes.
And if you saw the size of the openings for the torpedoes, they're big boys.
Yeah, they are they're huge.
So we're excited to get this thing in our hands. Obviously, you being the most excited about this. We're looking to make this the flagship of Quantum Jump. What about it makes it such a good ship, in your opinion?
So currently, right now, we are using a Carrack as kind of like our primary flagship. The biggest difference is the Polaris in size to start is a little bit bigger, can hold more crew, has a size 4 shield, so has a capital class shield, so a lot more shield and armor. You know, the weapons will help defend it a little bit better than the Carrack's weapons. But the big things are what's inside of this thing. So for starters, that extra cargo, you know, the 432 units, while being less than the Carrack, it's one big cargo bay, so we can put a little bit more ground vehicle support inside to start. Right now, the Carrack kind of tops at about 2 URSAs, but we can probably easily get 4 URSAs in here if we needed. And then the hangar on top, which is way bigger than the hangar on the Carrack. The Carrack can hold the C8R, which is what we use. Fits it snugly, but this one, from the looks of it, we can fit probably 6 C8Rs in here comfortably.
One the thing I like about it is that the med bay is right off the hangar, so you're not trying to get the injured people through all these corridors like the Carrack. You're just going right there to the med bay.
Yeah, the med bay is on the port side of the hangar. Makes it nice and easy to get to. Has a good amount of medical beds in there. I believe it has a size 2 and then 2 size 3s for the medical system inside. And on the opposite side, on the starboard side, there's actually a brig. So if we have any pirates that we happen to capture on a rescue, we can easily turn them into the law if needed.
Sure. And the nice thing you were mentioning, the cargo bay, it's attached. There is an elevator from the hangar down to the cargo bay, so that's kind of a nice thing as well.
Yeah. Currently, right now, I've been mapping out what ships we will be putting into the Polaris, and it looks like a medium-class fighter, potentially 2 C8Rs, and Argo tractor, which we will see here shortly, and that can help us move boxes in and out of the ship easily.
That'll be some nice additions too when we get this thing in our hands and when we can kind of take it for a spin.
Definitely looking forward to it. I already have my order in for one, and they are being delivered later this year.
We can't wait.
Definitely looking forward to it.
All right, we're over here in another hull. This one showcasing Origin. We've got Consolidated Outland, and we've got something that a lot of people are looking forward to right now because they do have something that we also haven't had our hands on before. We're getting some Argo ships that are right behind us.
Yeah, so obviously not a lot of ships here for Invictus from these manufacturers as they're not primarily used in military, but we do have the military variants here like the Deltas, the 300i and the 100i series over there, and then the brand new Argo ship, which is being released to civilian market as of today.
I think they brought the Origin 100i in there just because the generals like to fly in those.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where like you join the military, you become an officer, and they just give you one.
Right, exactly. You get the luxury ship while the grunts have to ride in the back of the Argo MPV.
Exactly. All right, so let's go check it out, some of these ships down here.
Sounds good. All right, we're standing in front of the Mustang Delta, the Consolidated Outlands military version of the Mustang. The Mustang is something that you might fly when you first start flying around the Stanton system, but tell me a little bit about the military version here.
Yeah, so the military one is equipped with 3 size 2 Badger laser repeaters and 2 size 3 Jericho rocket pods. Not missiles, but rocket pods.
That's an interesting variant.
Yeah, you don't really see the rocket pods used on a whole lot of ships, but it is nice to see it here on a Mustang. But also with the Mustang, you do have 2 size 1 shields. So it's not going to be the strongest fighter out there, but you know what? It's a good, probably training ship that they use.
Absolutely. Get those grunts kind of trained up, and then they can move up into the faster, higher flying ships. But it's a nice little military variant.
Definitely. I like it.
All right, so we're over here on the Origin side of the hull. We've got some, I think of Origin as being luxury, but we've got some variants that they are exploring in the UEE. Like I said, I have a feeling that the generals like to fly in these fancier ships, the more comfortable ships. Obviously, there are some firepower differences with these variants. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so over here, over our left shoulder, we have the 125A, which surprisingly has 2 size 3 laser repeater guns on it and 6 size 2 missiles. That's a lot of firepower for its size to have size 3s.
Would not expect that.
And then over here on our right shoulder, we have the 325A by Origin with 2 size 3 laser repeaters and a size 4 Revenant ballistic Gatling. It also has 4 size 2 Dominator missiles and 4 size 3 missiles as well.
It's definitely got that big nose gun.
Yeah, so for their size, that's decent firepower. But again, I don't really see these being a major combat ships. Like you said, probably more of the fancier combat ships to transport the generals or someone else around.
Right. Yeah. Just kind of getting them from point A to point B and having a little bit of firepower with you. Sounds like Origin.
Definitely has heated seats and massage.
Oh, absolutely. All right, we're switching over to the Argo series of ships. Standing behind us is the SRV, the Standard Recovery Vehicle. Now, this is a fairly new ship that we've gotten our hands on, and it's a nice addition because when you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, you can call somebody with one of these guys, and they can tow you back to safe space.
Yeah, and it tows you to safe space using its size 3 tractor beam mount. So far, it is currently the only ship that has this mount on it.
That is pretty interesting. I wonder if they'll be able to throw that on anything else, especially when you have those tractor areas, tractor turrets.
That would definitely be a surprise to see on other ships. Like I said, so far it's the only one with it, but I definitely think we need more with them.
Absolutely. And one thing I like about the Argo ships is they've actually got some really comfortable interiors. So obviously this one can fly with the Navy, but we've seen the raft version, the freight version before, and it's also got a nice hab area. But I actually really like the hab area in this ship. It's actually very comfortable, kind of fits a couple people for those long hauls.
Yeah, it's really surprising to see on such an industrial sized ship. You're looking here at the ship itself behind us and you see the tubes and the exposed canisters and stuff like that. But on the inside, it's really cozy.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of hidden things. Some people don't even know about the cargo bay.
Yeah, actually, I was telling Bob about that I did not know it had a cargo bay on it until quite recently.
Yep, it's just behind the crew elevator if you are looking for it.
Yeah, it holds 12 SCU of cargo.
It's a pretty nice little haul when you're kind of out in the black and pulling some things. You can actually throw some stuff in your cargo bay. So it's
not too bad.
Nice little all-around towing vehicle.
Well, head over to the other side and see what else Argo has to offer for us today.
Absolutely. Now, what you couldn't see when we were on the other side of the SRV are these smaller little Argo vehicles that they have. Obviously, logistics is a big part of the Navy, of any military, of any UE section. So Argo is very good at providing these vehicles. So right behind us is something we haven't had our hands on before. This is the tractor, and it has multiple tractor beams. It can kind of carry some of those larger cargo boxes. It's going to be very useful in the Navy.
Yeah, so all 3 of these are smaller shuttlecrafts with no quantum drives on them at all, so they do need a mothership to be in, such as the Idris has a dedicated hangar for the Argo cargo, which is the one over there on the far right. But going back to this middle one here, yeah, this new MPUV T1 tractor variant has a size 2 tractor beam on the nose that you can see, as well as a remote turret size 1 on the back, which helps load cargo boxes onto its gravitational cargo grid of a total of 16 SCU of cargo space.
That's a nice handy little vehicle. Kind of lets you move things around, but also shuttle things back and forth. Speaking of shuttling things back and forth, we've got to our left is the personnel variant. So obviously moving people back and forth between ships, from ships to the ground and to the stations. That's what this little personnel carrier is going to be very useful for.
Yeah, holds a total of 8 people on the inside to shuttle around, and then the pilot itself, so a total of 9, and all in the same package, like all in the same size ship, which is just great.
Well, and I've heard them talking about that you can switch these things out. You'll be able to kind of they'll be modular, so I'm really excited for us to get our hands on these things and be able to kind of customize it to our needs.
Exactly. Being able to have the personnel one, but still maintaining that tractor beam will be pretty cool.
Right, and like I said, it has its own space in the Idris, so you'll be able to just have it right there and be able to kind of do whatever you need with this nice little.
I also looked at the side of these earlier, and on the landing gear, did you notice that it says Bob?
I did not realize that. My gosh.
I thought that was kind of a little nifty thing that I know that you didn't notice.
Well, they're suited for me then. Jeez.
Yep, Bob for Bob.
I like it.
Well, that kind of sums up this side of the expo hall with the first new ship that we can get our hands on today, being the Argo 1T.
Absolutely. All right, we're over here in the other expo hall taking a look at some more RSI ships. One new one that we're getting our hands on that we are very excited in the Quantum Jump Medical Org, and then a few other ships that we are also excited about and enjoy flying, but we're taking a look at some bunch.
Let's go ahead and head over to the first group and check them out.
We're over here taking a look at the Aurora LN, which apparently stands for Legionnaire, which neither of us knew. I think that's kind of interesting. People may be familiar with the Aurora, as it's a very common ship that I see, especially with new pilots seem to fly it a lot. But it's a good little ship. It's got a lot of capabilities. There's a lot of variants to it. But tell me a little bit about this one.
So the big difference with this one is it does have 2 size 1 shields, 4 size 1 Bulldog laser repeaters, and 4 size 2 Dominator missiles on it. So for its size, it packs a pretty decent punch for a cheap, ship that you can buy off a used market as your first ship in the flying around.
Yeah, it's a nice little starter ship. You can also see behind us the RSI Mantis, which is a interdiction ship. It's something that the Navy can use to kind of stop pirates. They can kind of pull them out of quantum and kind of trap them there. So it's a nice useful ship for those kind of large fleet battles.
Yeah, for sure. Going into the Mantis stats, it too has 2 size 1 shields, 2 size 3 laser cannons, 2 size 2 Dominators, and 2 size 2 ignites. So you are getting 2 different types of missiles in there, an infrared and an electromagnetic one. But the big point of that ship is the QED system on it, which has a quantum snare and a quantum entanglement system in it. So it can pull you out of quantum and prevent you from jumping back into quantum. So it's very common with security forces and military to interject combatant ships or, the everyday pirate who's trying to smuggle some drugs.
Absolutely. It's a good peacekeeping ship. It is there to pull those bad guys out of quantum and to keep them there so you can go ahead and capture them. Hopefully they're knocking them out with the dampeners and then going and taking them into custody.
Exactly. So it's definitely something you need to absolutely pair with other ships, but a good ship on its own.
Yeah, and we'll actually go take a look at some ships that you could pair it with. All right, we're standing over here in front of the Scorpius and its variant, the Antares. This is a nice 2-seat fighter. It gives you a lot of firepower, a lot of options. The Antares has some functionality that's similar to the Mantis, but it does have a little bit of a difference. These are going to be some good ships to pair. All three of these ships would go really well together because they can do that quantum interdiction and that dampening, so they're going to be able to hold people in place. But then you got that Scorpius with its extra turret that is just going to kind of knock them back if they are counterattacking.
Yeah, so to start with the Scorpius, it has a size 2 shield, 4 size 3 guns on the wings, and then the turret also has 4 size 3 Panther repeaters on it. What's very unique about this turret system, though, is it can fire forward and then also rotate down to the lower back. So if you're being chased, you can also shoot behind you very easily with no obstructions.
Yeah, it's a very interesting rail system that the turret kind of slides along, and it's a remote turret that the co-pilot can control. So it's a very useful turret system.
Exactly. And then to finish up its stats, it also has 16 size 2 missiles on it. Yeah, a lot of firepower.
Don't want to go up against that thing.
Absolutely not. So getting over here to the Antares, it also has the same size 2 shield, the same size 3 guns for the pilot. However, there is no turret on this one. Instead, your co-pilot is controlling a size 4 mag strand EMP generator and a size 3 tide lock quantum interdiction generator as well.
So once the Mantis pulls it out of quantum, then you'll be able to dampen it and hit it with that EMP. So you'll be able to knock out all of its systems and be able to go and board it or go and take it into custody.
Exactly. And then to final up, the biggest difference as well with the Antares over the regular is the additional size 1 power plant on board, and that helps run those extra 2 systems.
Sure, that makes sense. Got to keep that power up.
I personally love the Antares, especially like one of the paint options that you can get from the factory is really cool. You know, looks like with those old World War II fighter jets. Definitely makes it look really cool.
The paint job makes the ship.
Exactly. Gives it personal flavor.
Now let's go take a look at one thing that we've been looking forward to for a long time.
Our second new ship of the expo today that we can use today.
All right, we're here in front of the URSA variants, and we've got some nice things that we use these things all the time. We've had an URSA always in the Carrack with us when we have a large crew with us and need to drive pretty far. That's kind of our go-to. We can take about up to 4 people in the back, 2 in the front. We've got the Lynx to our left. That is the kind of the high end, the one that we drive the CEO around in. Variant. Got a nice two seats in the back, the champagne holder, everything that he enjoys while he's back there. But then right behind us is the thing we've been looking forward to for a while, the variant that we've been asking for, begging for. We finally get our hands on it and can finally add it to our arsenal. So we're looking at the URSA Medivac right straight behind us.
Yeah, and when we say Medivac, we don't mean the Apollo. We do mean the URSA variant. And also, you did say we're in front of the URSAs. We're kind of behind the URSAs, technically. But yeah, so the URSAs are kind of like our one and all round vehicle because it fits in the Carrack, and that's the main ship that we use. And typically any other ships that we use, we have them in there as well. But the ability now to have a medical variant for when we have to drive those long drives over to rescue somebody due to turrets or something in the area, it having a medical facility on standby for them to get the proper treatment that they need. Even if we are transporting them back to the Carrack in the back, we can still give them proper treatment to stabilize any wounds that they may or may not have.
Exactly. The nice thing about this, and like we said, we usually have a regular URSA variant with us, so we can now we can carry both. We can have that, like you said, that medical facility right on site, but then we can still carry like enough people to kind of go in and do what we need to do while we're in those operations, especially, like you said, if we're in a hostile territory with turrets above us, we're going to need both variants, and this is just a nice addition to our arsenal, to the abilities that we can offer as a medical organization. I think it's like I said, something we've been looking forward to and something we're excited to get out there in the field.
Yeah. Adding a bunch of these, I don't even know how many we ordered, but it was a significant amount. But yeah, these aren't to replace the original URSA at all. The Carrot can carry 2 URSAs, so it will be an addition to our standard base URSA, so we can carry a medical facility as well as a whole fire team out at once.
Exactly. It's just expanding on what our deployments look like, what we can offer. Just a good addition to the org.
And a much needed one too. We had the Pisces, which took care of our aerial quick response, but now we have the Medivac to take care of our ground quick response.
Exactly.
Well, I do believe that is the final ship here on, the first 2 days of the expo for RSI, Constellated Outland, Origin, and Argo. We will definitely be back for the next days and checking out any new ships, any returning ships.
Yeah, thanks for following us along through Invictus. As Spectre said, we will be looking at some of those new things, some of those old things. Keep following us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. Have a good night.